Hello everyone, and welcome to my The Bachelor Buzz News channel. I hope everyone is having a wonderful day. Before we begin, please hit the subscribe button and give this video a thumbs up. Joan Vassos gave Chock Chapple her last rose at the end of the Golden Bachelorette Season 1, but I think she's just going with the safe route. I didn't want Joan's situation to turn out that way. I wanted her to discover the man of her dreams because she's been through a lot in the past several years. After 32 years of marriage and 4 children together, Joan lost her husband, Joan Vassos, in 2021. She never imagined dating in her latter years, but he was the love of her life. When she learned that applicants were being sought for an older-oriented version of the Bachelor series, Joan dated 72-year-old Jerry Turner after being cast in Season 1 of The Golden Bachelor. She was cast as the Golden Bachelorette and introduced to 24 unmarried Golden-eligible bachelors after having to depart early due to a family emergency. Joan received her last rose to 60-year-old Chock after an exciting season filled with romantic dates, difficult situations, rose ceremonies, and dramatic interludes. But did Joan choose the safe route? During Season 1 of The Golden Bachelorette, Joan met 24 attractive men, and Chock was one of her first preferences. Chock received Joan's first one-on-one date, but he didn't get her first impression rose, which went to 62-year-old Keith Gordon. They connected over similar life experiences and shared ideals when they headed to Disneyland for a romantic date at the Magic Kingdom. The two remained devoted to one another for the remainder of the season after their passionate kiss beneath the famous Disneyland fireworks show. Chock had experienced a deep loss, much like Joan. Chock met Catherine Elizabeth White Gorey following the divorce of his 12-year marriage to Heather Chapple. Before she died in 2022, the couple had been engaged for 9 years. Chock claimed that losing Heather was the most traumatic loss of his life during their first date alone with Joan. Chock remains close to the family of his late fiancée. Catherine's father was also present when Joan traveled to Kansas to meet the Chapples. It's obvious that Chock cherished his late fiancée, and I think Joan was touched by his openness. When Chock's mother died during filming Season 1 of The Golden Bachelorette, he suffered yet another devastating loss. Chock gave Joan an emotional farewell kiss as he had to leave the show early. It was uncertain whether he would return, and they were both sad. I think the relationship took a significant shift when Chock came back by the conclusion of the show. Joan always thought he would be a safe bet because Chock made it obvious that she was his top concern. Joan reduced her choices to 3 guys around the end of the first season of The Golden Bachelorette: Chock, Guy Gansert, 66, and Pascal Ibgui, 69. During their overnight date, Pascal panicked after a symbolic bonding rite caused him to doubt his love, which devastated Joan's heart. Pascal informed Joan that he considered her more of a friend in a distressing video that Bachelor Nation uploaded to YouTube. After leaving The Golden Bachelorette, he returned home. Guy Gansert wasn't a flawless option, just as Pascal wasn't. According to People, Guy's ex-wife, Heidi O'Gara, applied for a temporary protective order against him in October 2021 while Season 1 of The Golden Bachelorette was airing. A month later, Heidi revoked the injunction, but Guy's tense relationship with his ex-wife was a serious warning sign. Chock was the most interested in Joan out of the 3 men who made it to her final 3, and I firmly believe he was her safest choice. As expected, Chock Chapple received Joan Vassos' final rose at the end of The Golden Bachelorette, but he is not the villain that the producers painted him as. Even though Chock prevailed, his portrayal and the way his acts were presented as evil or manipulative toward Joan caused him to be a topic of discussion during the show. But the rightful winner of Season 1 of The Golden Bachelorette was Chock. Chock annoyed the other men throughout The Golden Bachelorette. He didn't want to become friends with the other males and was abrasive. Pascal Ibgui was so invested in Joan from the start that he suspected Chock of stalking her. Chock and Joan's relocation to New York City demonstrates his sincere interest in the Bachelor franchise star, despite the fact that his actions may have been interpreted as manipulative. This explains why the producer's intervention was the only reason for his villain edit. Producers sought to portray Chock's 9-year engagement as the result of his dread of being committed, but the truth was more nuanced. He has no fear of being committed. The main reasons he became engaged to his late fiancée, Kathy White-Gorey, were respect for her wishes and uncontrollable circumstances. The couple decided to delay marriage until their children from past relationships were settled and out of school, according to Chock. Since both of them were parents managing blended family dynamics when they first met, their dedication to their families had a role in this choice. Unfortunately, before they could tie the knot, Kathy died of brain cancer in 2022. Chock was completely different from the possessiveness Pascal claimed he had for Joan. Other guys became envious of the other males, including Pascal, Mark Anderson, and Guy Gansert. Nonetheless, Chock trusted his relationship with Joan and gave her the freedom to investigate her relationships. From the start of the Golden Bachelorette, Chock and Joan appeared to be a match made in heaven. Chock's strategy was less about control and more on comfort and commitment. He was always focused on making Joan feel important and valued, especially when they were engaged, and he said, "Joan, you will never be invisible to me." During his proposal, he made a vow to tell you that he loved her every single day. Chock didn't have to put friendships with the other men first because he and Joan were truly close. Making connections isn't the main goal of the Golden Bachelorette, but it can be an unforeseen benefit. Friendship can be the secondary objective for men like Mark, who probably appeared on the show to gain influence. Chock's goal was always very clear: woo Joan over and pop the question. Fortunately, despite producer meddling, Chock and Joan appear content following the Golden Bachelorette. They were unable to damage Chock's reputation. On the Golden Bachelorette, Joan Vassos, the show's lead lady, met her ideal mate. Only one of the 24 competitors for the heart could win, despite the fact that they all made excellent mates. She had the closest bond with Chock Chapple. As the season went on, it became clear that the two were meant to be. Chock was Joan's last choice, and he proposed to her in the season finale. When Joan enthusiastically accepted, the fans melted. Jerry Turner's season of The Golden Bachelor was Joan's first appearance. She was asked to return for her own season, The Golden Bachelorette Season 1, after failing to find love with Jerry. Although she had an unbreakable bond with Chock, the guys who were removed were formidable opponents. Although their characteristics might not have suited Joan, she claims that some of her competitors showed interest in her dismissed bachelors. She has been excited to match her co-workers with the men because she is a romantic. It appears that she is a gifted matchmaker. On The Golden Bachelor, Joan acquired a lot of contacts. She was able to establish and retain friendships both on and off set because of her gregarious and lively attitude. Later, after Joan grudgingly weeded out her possible lovers, some of her new acquaintances asked about the men she had turned down. She did not provide any names, but she expressed her delight over the possible ties. Joan talked candidly about her hopes of becoming a matchmaker in an interview with US Weekly. Joan declared, "I've already set up 3 of them, we have love connections that are brewing right now," in response to a question concerning the developing relationships. Additionally, "I'm looking at and working on 2 more. Without naming anyone, she expressed her enthusiasm for the possible ties. Of course, it's too early to tell. The talking phase is where many of the partnerships are at the moment. Thankfully, fans are already making the connections. A number of Bachelor alumni have responded to the reports, and several have been spotted together. The future of some of the romances is bright, even though many people would rather not verify any claims until they are serious. Thanks for watching. If you like this video, so please don't forget to subscribe my channel and don't miss any update.